Hi, everybody. How's it going? So glad to see you here. We have almost 60 people on. Just so you know, technologically, I'm actually in Zoom and you are all in YouTube. So I'm going to be glancing back and forth here so I can see all these wonderful comments that you're making along the way. So happy to see everybody. Hey, Van. Hey, Aaron. Can we be like Miss Nancy on Romper Room again, but that's okay. Hi, Katie and Kristen. How's everybody doing today? Are we hanging in there? Hello, everybody. Hi, John. Hi, Nina. So nice to see all of you. All right. Got quite a few people logging in. We'll give it a minute and let people join us. So awesome to see people joining us. Nice to see you, Mark. Nice to see you, Student Health Crew. Hi, Nina. Hi, Sade. Hi, EOPS. Hello, Jill. Alan, Eva, Zoe, Amara. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started today. I want to thank everyone for joining us and excited to have so many of you joining us. And I apologize, you're going to see the side of my face from time to time, but as I'm navigating these two systems. First of all, I just want to say happy summer. We are in the thick of summer. It's July the 9th. It's really amazing to me how quickly this time is going, but also amazing to me how much is still happening during the summer. You can see we've gone back to our old school methodology. So it's just me, the talking head today, but I got plenty to say as usual. And, but I do have some wonderful reports from others who have given me awesome things to say. And we also have questions that were posed by all of you, some of our students, questions of things that are going on. So let me start with some fantastic news, which is that annually the San Diego Community College District offers an Outstanding Classified Professionals Award. And the special recognition is a peer award among permanent, non-supervisory, non-management classified professionals. So I'd like to thank the classified Senate members Charlie and Eva and Anna McComb and Marco for organizing and administering the award. It normally happens during our Classified Appreciation Week, but as you all know, we had to do that a little differently this time. And so I just appreciate them doing that. We had 17 nominations this year, one of the most nominations we've ever received, at least since I've been here. So thank you everyone who submitted a nomination. And in summary, I would just like to say, here's a short description of this person. They are reliable, creative, hardworking, patient, and caring. They're an outstanding role model for other classified professionals. And so it's with a great deal of pleasure and honor that I announce Amara Tang from the Career Center, Transfer Career and Evaluation Center, as this year's Outstanding Classified Professional of the Year Award winner. Congratulations, Amara. We are so excited for you. Well deserved, and could not be more excited. And so you will receive a wonderful award, probably in the snail mail, unless you're coming to campus for some sort of special event. So congratulations. And I'm going to wait a minute to see everyone's responses as I see that come through on YouTube. And here all the congratulations are rolling in for you, Amara. So fantastic, fantastic job. So proud of you and proud of the work that you do. And of course, that whole transfer career and evaluations gang over there is pretty remarkable. So congratulations on that. And when we see each other in person, right after I hug you, safely, of course, we will celebrate this in person for sure the next time we see each other. So now I'm going to jump in and let's talk a little bit about what's happening on the Mesa. As you can see, if you've ever been in my office, I'm actually in my office today. And I want to thank both Giovanni and Beth for helping me hold down the fort of the president's office while we're in this working remotely. As you can imagine, it's not always easy, as the president's office really does serve as sort of a central station for communications for the institution from our community and you know, certainly from our district office. And so, and they are actually here today. Beth is in the conference room and Giovanni is at his desk, and I just appreciate all of their efforts. So thanks to the two of them for being my ride or dies here. And I also want to give a shout out to our wonderful facilities folks that have been here throughout, our own folks in terms of Jacqueline, you know, Matt Fay working on some of our safety and reopening, which I'll get to in just a minute. But, you know, there are people here that are keeping this campus safe and beautiful and working really hard at trying to make sure that when we return, we have a beautiful place to be. So, you know, thank you to them. And this is in no way not thanking everyone for everything you're doing, but I did want to give a couple of shout outs for those that I know are physically here and really keeping things moving. The other thing I want to tell you is we actually do have some campus students and faculty here. It's in very limited capacity. I think you heard me talk about this the last time. We had several courses that when they finished in the spring semester had to give in progress grades to their students because the skills that they had to demonstrate could not be demonstrated in an online environment. Those are in our allied health fields and they are in culinary arts. And so we have designed and devised proper PPE, symptomatology kinds of tracking, working very closely with our health center folks, Suzanne and the group, monitoring anything that might happen with students or faculty in this environment. We're making sure that the exposure to one another is as low as possible, but giving those students the opportunities to finish their programs so that they can move on. So I appreciate all the hard work in allied health and culinary arts in both of those schools, and to all the people that are helping us, again, screen people as they come into buildings, providing the PPE. Thank you to everyone who's trying to do that as safely as possible. So we do have that going on. One thing, and I'll talk a little bit about other things that are happening on campus, but let me get to some of the questions that we saw. And of utmost interest right now is this, I will call it, as I see it, ridiculous new ICE policy around the participation of international students in education in this online environment. We have this policy that's out there. We are currently evaluating its rigor, and we are working directly with our advocacy groups. That includes the state attorney general. And when I say we, I mean we as a system of community colleges, and I mean in our own district, we are certainly looking at the legal ramifications, just like we did when the CARES Act's limitations were put on the money around DACA students. And as you probably know by now, that has been reversed based on the new actions of the Department of Education. Not really. It was based on the lawsuit, and they had to back off because they didn't have a legal standing. So at this point, we are studying it carefully. I want to give a big shout out to our Adrian Dines and to our wonderful Yvonne Alvarez and to everyone at International Students Office. I know you're doing Zoom meetings with our students. I know that one of our peer navigators is an international student, and she's been super active on Instagram, making sure we stay connected. So no rash decisions. Keep your schedules. We are doing our best to do this both on the high end of things to make sure that we can find out what the legal ramifications are. And then we will be flexible to do what we can to protect our international students' enrollment and to keep you connected to us. So I just want you to know that that we are working on it. Again, it's Thursday, and this came out, just a couple days ago, as things happen to do in this environment. And so it can be very difficult for students to know what to do. But if you're talking to international students, stay the course, and we will be in touch as much as we can to let you know what's going on. Yes, cruel indeed, Ian, completely cruel. So we are going to do our best, as I said, to mitigate any damages that this might have. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I'm happy to answer any further questions as well. Let's talk about where we are with return to campus. We are currently studying all of the guidelines. There have been now state guidelines that are put out, but of course we are really tied to county health orders. And right now the county health orders are very specific about holding regular classes on any campus of higher education, and frankly, K-12 as well. So despite what you might hear out in the ethos about everyone needs to return or they'll lose funding or those kinds of things, we are following this very carefully. We do not want to put anybody in the jeopardy of being unsafe. And so, but we can't just sit around and wait for, okay, now it's going to happen, and then we don't have any plan to come back. So we are actively planning for what a return to campus would look like and what a modified return might look like. So for instance, we have those in progress folks that are here now. We also have a number of courses that are scheduled for fall with some face-to-face contact in programs like chemistry, biology, again, allied health, culinary arts. We are trying to limit those as much as possible. One of the reasons we're trying to limit those is that we're reading what's happening right now in terms of the active cases that we're seeing increasing in the other states that have reopened, and in our very own state that has done some reopening, now some retraction of that opening. And so we're being very, very careful, but it would really be malfeasance for us to sit around and wait to see what happens. We need a plan. And so it will be a stepped plan. It will be guided by what's happening in terms of the county orders. We do not want to do anything that is, against those orders. And we would certainly want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to keep people safe. A specific question was how, when campus reopens and staff return to the office, is there an option to continue working remotely for staff who don't feel comfortable returning, or they have limited childcare or some of those kinds of things? I've talked a little bit about this before, but I'll say it again, which is if and when, not if, but when campus reopens, it would likely be at a time when other kinds of agencies are opening as well. So whether it be childcare or the Unified School District or some of those things, we would hope would be in place so that our staff would feel supported in that. And so they would have some avenues in terms of caring for children. In terms of your own health and safety, if there is a reason that under a safe reopening, you were not able to come back, that would all be done through examining your particular situation and, really working with your supervisor and looking at the opportunity to work from home. So we would be looking at those things. When we have a total return to campus, I think it's worth evaluating whether or not all of the work has to be done physically here, but I don't have any way to negotiate that in collective bargaining agreements, which is where that would happen. And so I think it would be a shame if we didn't learn, from this pandemic and the kinds of things that we have been able to do. But I'm just saying that I think that it's important for us to be careful about how we do all of that. So, more on that as we move forward. Another question that I'm getting, and I'm just going to say to my tech folks, I have lost the live chat from Facebook, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm not seeing it, and I've refreshed a couple times, so just throwing it out there. Next question is, are there discussions about spring, and I'll come back to fall in just a minute. Are there discussions about spring of 2021 and returning to campus? Yes, there are discussions about that, but again, we would really want to be able to, again, know that we're safe and secure in this environment, would be following, all the local guidelines. I appreciate that other colleges have announced that they're planning their entire 2021 year as online instruction. We're not ready to do that. We will make the call as soon as we can so that people have adequate time to plan. But we're just not there yet. I don't think any of us knows what spring looks like yet, but we'll do the best that we can. Okay. A couple of other things just in terms of where we are with reopening. So in terms of reopening, I want to thank Lorenze and again, the group that's been working on our reopening plan. It's been a large group, really looking at what kind of hygiene we would need in our classrooms, how often spaces would have to be cleaned, who would need to do that, and how we would need to do that. We know that our facilities staff has, a bandwidth to do what they would normally do, but not endless hours to be in doing the kind of hygienic work that would need to be done. Looking at trying to design the classrooms for the limited people, should we be able to have some face-to-face, the limited opportunities we have for that, how we would space students in labs. So I'm thinking of, a chem table with 4 seats, likely only 2 students would be there, distance 6 feet apart. And again, I do not want to tell you that that's what's happening because I'm not the expert on the ground in that, but those are the kinds of evaluations that we're making. So again, but if we get to the point where we're ordered to have no gatherings on our campus based on what's going on with the virus, we will again have to work on what a totally remote situation would look like. And it does make it very difficult for our hard to convert classes. So I'm going to reel it back a little bit, and I'm also going to give a big shout out to those of you who are participating in the Mesa Building with Buddies program. We started, and we know lots of people have needs to know how to do remote work. But one of the things that we wanted to start on right away in summer was giving the faculty some time to convert their courses. They really didn't have time to convert when we left campus in March. And so we have a number of folks that are now participating in Mesa Building with Buddies. This is a program for faculty to work with other more experienced faculty and building out their Canvas shells, building out their online courses, and really humanizing that content, looking at the social presence that you have in a classroom, looking at the teaching presence that you bring, reflecting on the learning, and really using all of the tools that are available in Canvas to do the kinds of things that we would like to do in the online environment. I will just give you a fun anecdote. I teach a course at San Diego State in the fall semester each year. I teach the capstone course in the EDD program. And so I am currently involved in a 3-week version of Mesa Buddies through San Diego State University. Both Dr. Bridget Heron and I teach in that program, so we are both in this right now. And I can tell you my modules are due every 48 hours as a soft deadline, and once a week as a hard deadline. I'm learning all about soft and hard deadlines. But what I will tell you is that I have, one of the reasons that I continue to teach is because I think it's important for leaders to have the perspective of what faculty deal with and have direct feedback from students in terms of a learning environment. And so I'm not here to tout to say, oh, I teach at San Diego State, and by the way, the class is on Saturdays. The class will be in various times now. But it is a stretch to learn all that one needs to learn about really great teaching in an online environment. So I just want to tell you, buddies, and people who are building with your buddies, I'm with you. I love you. You might see me from time to time because I might need a Mesa translation of a buddy helper bee. But I'm in the thick of it now, and I'm excited to learn some of these tools because I think some of them could then lead themselves to having really nice opportunities for us, whether we're in committee meetings or different kinds of opportunities to use some of the tools that are in Canvas. So I'm there with you, not just in spirit, but in real life. I wait till everything's done during the day and then spend a couple hours every night with my best friends in the San Diego Flexible Curriculum Institute, something like that. So anyway, it is a labor of love right now to do that. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the cool things that are happening at Mesa right now. So we are having virtual celebrations, end of the year celebrations, and we will have our rite of passage online celebration, or our Zoom celebration, also having a RASA celebration. Monday and Tuesday on our campus, students will be able to come by and get their caps and tassels so that when we do the virtual celebration on Friday, they can celebrate with those things with them. And then on Wednesday is our big commencement parade. And I'm super stoked about this because even though we will have masks on, we have, I think, and I don't know if Vicky's on or not, but I think we have over 400 students who have RSVP'd to parade in their vehicles through this really wonderful throng of folks that are going to be there. And I think we have about 50 or 60 volunteers already, of all of you who said you'd like to be there, physically distanced from one another and cheering on our students. So there's going to be music. We're going to be cheering folks on. We've got some fantastic sides that our wonderful print and mail services are doing for us. So I'm so excited to see people. I'm excited to celebrate with our students. I've had the opportunity to see some of the videos that will be in the virtual commencement on Friday. And the thing for me is always, does it make me cry? And those of you who know me, pretty much, you know, a leaf falls from a tree and I can start crying. But what I would say about that is the video made me cry for this reason. I miss you guys. I miss being on campus. I miss the vibrancy of our campus together. And it reminded me so much of why I love this job and why I love Mesa College, because I got to see all of you doing what you do in your natural habitat. So look for the opportunity for the, during our commencement ceremony. It's gonna just be a lot of fun. Oh, 500 students, so cool, Vicki, thank you. That's awesome to hear. So we'll be out there a while. Wear your comfy shoes. Just FYI, I made it, I will have my puffy hat on, but I will not be in my cap and gown because, you know, 30 minutes in, I'll probably pass out, you know, be a little hot. So you wouldn't want me to do that. That would just be ugly. So I will have some sort of festive Mesa wear on with my, of course, I will see if I can wear the medallion over a t-shirt. That could be some fun. Although that might be a throwback to Flavor Flav. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, excited for Wednesday. And So I will ask Miss Annabelle or Joel or somebody to put in the chat the time for the commencement parade, and also the time, I believe, is 10 a.m. for the commencement on Friday morning that you can see. And we will get a Zoom link to that at some point soon. So all of those things are happening, and it's very exciting that they are. The other thing that we're doing right now is called Mesa's Annual Giving Day. And you know that we've done Giving Tuesday and different kinds of things. This year, we just thought it would be so important. We haven't been able to celebrate our graduates of the class of 2020 in ways that we would have. And one of the things we thought was, well, let's celebrate them by doing some fundraising around the success of this class. Once again, we have awarded, a huge number of degrees and certificates. Our students, and if you're on with those students, have done just such a fantastic job of completing your degrees and certificates, despite all of the fun we've had in our conversion. And so we really thought it would be great. And so we've tapped into some of our alumni networks, and we're using that thought of remember the feeling when you cross the stage. Remember that feeling when your family was cheering for you over at USD at the beautiful pavilion where we do our commencement. And so we think it's a really great idea. So we'll put the link up for Annual Giving Day. I'm excited to tell you we already have a $6,000 match. And with that $6,000 match, we are then able to double your money the moment that you give it. So if it's $5, $10, anything helps. And you can describe in your giving what you'd like to give it for. It could be towards a scholarship that you already give to. It could be towards our basic needs through the stand. It could be to our COVID-19 relief funds. It could be anything. There's also been some information sent out that there is an incentive for particular areas on campus. If you want to fundraise and your group happens to be the group that fundraises the most, and Krista can help me with this, I think there's a $500 incentive to your foundation account or to your department's philanthropies. So, we just shockingly love a little competition at Mesa College, just a little competition. So it's really exciting that we're doing Annual Giving Day as well. A reminder for our students, and I know we don't have to tell the staff this, but a reminder for our students, Student Services is open and helping students every day. If you go to our webpage, you can get right to Student Services. And so, please access our counselors, our admissions folks, our financial aid folks. They are there to serve you. Our health center folks are doing telehealth so that you can get, wonderful services in terms of your own health. Do you have COVID questions? You can ask those of our experts. So there's just so much going on in terms of still support for you. I also really encourage you when you hit our landing page to look at the significant investment we make in terms of making sure that Mesa College is committed to Black Lives Matter. And that we are very clear and have made a clarion call for looking at anti-Blackness, looking at equity around how our Black students, Black and African American students perform on our campus. And I don't mean perform from their perspective, I mean how we help our students be successful. And so that we've been embedded in this work for a long time with our Teaching Men of Color certificate, with the work that, certainly the work that SADE has done, the work that our BSU does, our Emoja program. There's so many different pieces of this. And I'm also really sensitive to the fact that it is not the responsibility of our Black colleagues and students to help us as non-Black people learn what we need to be doing. There are resources out there for us. There are some wonderful books that are out there that I know that we'll be working with in our loft. And so I just appreciate all of you taking some time to, whether it's do some reading or be in dialogue, but it is important for us to take the responsibilities as allies and accomplices to do this work. A shout out to our librarians for providing some incredible academic support pieces for classroom work around anti-Blackness, racism, and particularly Black Lives Matter. So really wonderful work in this. I am excited that we're providing those references, for all of you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about fall registration. I know people have had questions. There's a lot in the schedule. As you can only imagine, our VPI O'Connor and our deans and our chairs had to change the schedule a number of times, and I thank them for, and to our division admin secretaries and to Mona and others who have had to deal with those changes a number of times along the way. And so, I just want you to know that it's an iterative process. We generally would be done with the schedule long before we were done with it, but the landscape changes very quickly and probably will change again before we get too far into the fall semester. So if you're a student or you're someone who's advising a student, there's a lot of information in the schedule. And again, if you want to reach out to our counselors, if there are new students, make sure that they're using our summer cruise program. Summer cruise is going on in a remote environment, which is very cool. I got to meet with our 2021 peer navigators via Zoom on Monday. And as usual, they asked me the best questions and some they're just awesome individuals. And, I asked them to be intrusive in their students' lives to really reach out in this remote environment. And it's exciting to see, and thank you to Augustine, to Alexi for keeping that moving forward, because it's a heavy lift to onboard, thousands of students remotely, but we're going to do it. And it's exciting that we're able to do that. So, okay. So I am going to stop there for just a minute. I've been yakking now for about a half an hour, and I'm going to see if any of you have questions. So if you want to post questions in chat, I'm happy to try to answer them. Or I might say, hey, who could answer that is so-and-so, and might just go ahead and let them do it. So do y'all have questions of me, or is anyone else on the line? Did I not cover something we talked about me covering? Let me know. And I'll try to watch the chat. Awesome. Glad to see students are online with us. How do fall enrollments look? That is a great question, John. Fall enrollments look good. We haven't, of course, hit open enrollment yet, but we're definitely getting some good enrollments. And also, VPI Isabel is currently at the Curriculum Institute, so I can't have her answer that question for us. But if there are other folks on here, that would be great. If they want to comment on it. You're probably following the enrollments in your area, John. I assume they're doing well. And then while John's going to hear that in just a minute, Johanna, absolutely you can do a shout out for summer students to opt in for emails from the stand. And if we want to post a link to that, we can. I know we posted it on social media. Excellent. So it looks like we've posted the link. So you know that we have the beautiful stand and what we're doing this summer. And thank you again to Johanna and the crew have been doing our twice a month drive up mobile markets. And also now we are doing some hot meals so that our culinary students can create their creations and our students can come get them. But you know that we can't publicly serve food right now, so that we have to be careful for it. Johanna, you're good. Annabelle already posted it on the chat, so you're in good shape there. And then, so we've worked out some of those things. But yes, thank you, Johanna, for reminding me of that. We don't have the capacity to just serve everybody who shows up. So we're trying to do a really good job of having students opt in, letting us know they need us, and then helping them from there. All right, any other questions? Okay, so in your area. All right, well, we'll watch that. We're not so far into fall registration that I will tell you, John, one thing I will tell you is all of our registration sessions, our RegFest sessions are full at capacity. So it may very well be that students are waiting for those registration sessions and then going in and registering. But that's just anecdotal. If anyone's on from our RegFest crew and wants to post something about that, you can. But I know that all of our sessions are full right now, you know, in the hundreds. So I couldn't tell you exactly how many more are there, but I know that we're doing that right now. Just to make sure the only classes online, we do classes such as lab classes, not every class, or how would that look? So Elizabeth, if you're asking about, I'll speak to fall. We've tried to discern the parts of labs that are best done in a face-to-face environment and scheduled just those to be on our campuses, and they're scheduled in the schedule that way. In some science areas, in culinary arts, and in allied health, and I apologize if I'm missing some of them. If it's a traditional lecture course, it's in a remote format. So you'll be working with your students there. So, John, you're asking about a remote jumpstart. So we generally do jumpstart in February for new students. And so we would be doing, are you talking about like an onboarding, like welcome week? I'm wondering if you're asking about that, or if you're thinking about additional marketing to a broader group. You can let me know what your question is on that, and I'd be happy to try to answer it. Okay. Any other questions? Keep posting, folks. While I'm waiting for questions, I will give you my usual speech about taking care of yourself. It is difficult to take care of yourself when you're trying to take care of your children and do your job, and have all of the different things that are going on in your life. And so where you can find times to take a walk, to meditate, to find some way to give your brain and your heart and your soul a break. There is an awful lot bombarding us right now. Some of us are living the trauma of racism. Some of us are living the trauma of poverty. Some of us are living the COVID and living the impacts of COVID around losing jobs. So there's a lot of trauma out in the world right now, whether we're personally experiencing it, we know people who are, or we are ourselves. Even if it's 10 minutes. And, you know, I used to say this when I was a new mom. Sometimes that 10 minutes was sitting on the edge of my bathtub with the door shut, hoping no one would knock on it. Where you can, take those moments. If you can find a couple of things that give you hope, if you can grab your cell phone and call someone you know that you trust to support you, then please do. And I know I've been in contact with some folks via text and different, not some folks, lots of folks via text and Zoom and different ways. And so if you need someone and you need to reach out, we're here for you. We're all here for each other. That's what's so awesome about Mesa. So there ends my speech. I'll jump off my soapbox, but try where you can to take a break and take care of yourself. Oh, the event where parents visit with high schoolers. That does happen in the spring generally, John. So, but we can talk to student services about that. Okay, Donnelly, we're hosting one more Road Fest session next week on the 15th. So if students want to register, they can they can email Mesa Outreach and they can get into those sessions. Yes, Veronica, we did talk about that a little bit, and we are pursuing support for all of our international students, both legally and in person. If you're advising international students, they should make no hasty decisions right now and stay in touch with our international students office. I know they're doing Zoom meetings and some other kinds of things to support students, and obviously we're emailing and supporting as much as possible. So international students should stay connected to us, and we will walk them through this process. All right, any other questions? All right, I don't see any more questions. And so I know all of your time is valuable. So again, I am excited that you participated today. We've had, anywhere from 150 to almost 190 of us on here today on July the 9th. I don't know how many colleges can say that. I will just say that you are all absolute treasures to this college. You are absolute treasures to our students. If you are a student on here with us right now, it's a nutty time to be in college. But I can tell you, there is no better place for you to be than Mesa College. We are flexible, we are agile, we are equity minded, and we are going to take care of our folks. And so we just want to really make sure that we're doing the right thing. Feel free to email us. We will have another community forum, probably 2 weeks or so. And then believe it or not, it's going to be time for August to roll around again, and it might not feel like a usual one, but we'll be back, and we will have a convocation, whatever form that takes. For those of you who've been around for a bit, the plan is that all colleges will start their convocation. Miramar City and Mesa will start their convocation with the district team of our wonderful chancellor, because it is her last convocation, and it's a shame that we have to do that, not in the way that we can. But if I can figure out a way to get Constance and I dancing together during that convocation, it's going to happen, even if it's a TikTok and I have to do it in her driveway. We're going to figure it out. So they will be, and our wonderful board chair, Dr. Maria Nieto Sr., and Jim Mailer, of course, from AFT. So they will be live with us at the beginning of our convocation. And then right now we're under discussion, to talk about how we'll do our convocation, given the large numbers of us. I'll be relying on all the Mesa Buddies experts to help us do all of that. And so it will be very interesting. I can tell you that inquiries out across the campus, it's very clear to me that we will be talking about racial equity as one of the things that we see. We're always committed to excellence and equity and excellence, but we will certainly have racial equity at the top of our list. We'll undoubtedly be talking about students' basic needs and the impact of COVID on poverty and what our students are experiencing. And undoubtedly have some subject matter experts from all sorts of different areas that will help us get the fall semester kicked off in a way that both inspires us and gets us connected to one another. So if you have very strong feelings about what you'd like to see at convocation, post it in the chat, email me separately. I get emails after every one of these and I love answering them. So, please, please, please hit me up. I may not call you back at night because, doing the San Diego State online thing, but anyway, and then I have to write my course. But anyway, thank you all so much for being dedicated to Mesa College. And I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of the next few weeks. And I'll see you again at our next community forum. Thank you.